we're going to start throwing out the pitches with the top 5 reasons to add the Maevex series to your fall lineup. So Ron, let's start with reason number 5. Give it to us.
Okay, well, the fifth reason is because of the software that we provide. So the software is not extra, it comes with it. And PowerStream Plus is the application. It's a Windows application that recognizes, discovers automatically all the devices in one place. You can manage them and see them all from that single place, and you can have multiple instances of it. Second point is that we have simple APIs and SDK available as well. So your dealers and integrators can provide their own value add by helping to possibly integrate into an existing application some of the features that are in the software with the PowerStream Plus SDK or the APIs, an RS-232 API for management, simple management of start, stop, and reboot with a desktop touchscreen controller or something like that. And then we have a full REST API as well.
Absolutely, and I've gotten the feedback from our dealers that by making those APIs available, it's really what turns an opportunity into a multi-seat opportunity. Because once that work is done and you get the Maevex integrated into a campus or across a military installation, now all of a sudden they're justifying that development work by adding 10, 20, 30 of these across their entire installation. Which brings us to the next reason number 4, to add the Matrox Maevex to your lineup is how installer and operator friendly it is.
Yep, it really is. I mean, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of density. It's rack friendly, so it's 1U. Those appliances are 1U.
I'm going to show that off again here while you're talking about that.
And it's half rack. So you get 2 of those in one rack, and now you've got 8 4K streams in a 1U rack. That's pretty high density. If you use the card, you could have 10 slots in a card and have 40 streams of 4K in 5U. I mean, that's pretty high density. Absolutely. On top of that, you get low power. It's control room quiet. So it's less than 25 dB when it's running at full power, like the entire power envelope being used. The separate networks already mentioned. LCD information on the encoders shows you, installer information like IP address, temperature, all that kind of good stuff for them. And then on the decoder, you have it on the display. The pass-throughs that we have on this, it really makes it transparent for the operator of a desktop. And like you said, that's really the key. Our Fortune 500 type of business is making sure that, our products work, get the information where it needs to go, but does not interrupt the current application of a user or an operation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which brings us to the next key, which is the operation itself and the flexibility of the Matrox Maevex devices.
Yeah, we've really built in a lot of core functionality on this product. So, it is a H.264 based codec based solution. So it's high compression and low bandwidth. But at the same time, because we've done that, we can go pretty much anywhere on any network. So we've built in 6 different streaming protocols to the product so that you can get across the local area network and get where you need to go there. And you can get to the cloud for cloud services to either record to the cloud or stream up to the cloud and then broadcast down with video on demand from there, or even across the internet from a Maevex encoder to a Maevex decoder, and you can do that securely with 256-bit encryption as well. You can record at the same time, both to the USB of the device on the encode side or anywhere on the network that you have access to.
And I would imagine that 256-bit encryption is one of the key selling points when you are talking to military installations or even government installations and you're walking in those doors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, when you're on a closed network, it's perfectly fine. Usually that network is secured already. But when you're moving across the internet, that data, that content is something that, especially in the military, but even Fortune 500 does not necessarily want to share or have leak out to the rest of the world. So that 256-bit encryption is a key element of making sure that that's secure.
Number 2 reason is the near lossless compression. or near lossless quality, I should say.
Yep.
Now, in talking about this, Ron, you've talked about some of the different resolutions and stuff available here, but now we're talking about the quality itself of the stream and of the image. If you could go into a little more detail here.
Yeah, this is key because I don't think people necessarily realize that H.264, while it is high compression, it also can offer very, very high quality near lossless content. Our products are standard, they're set for the default at 420 chroma subsampling, which means that you're not sampling the full image. You're sampling part of it to get to get high quality or reasonably high quality, great for video, true video content. But you can also sample the entire image with 444 chroma subsampling.
Okay.
And that gives you the quality that it's near lossless. I frankly challenge anyone to really show me an application where they lose the quality enough to make it non-usable. So we're talking about desktops with fine lines like an Excel spreadsheet and very, small fonts. When you're using 444, you're getting tremendous quality and you're doing it at a fraction of what the typical codec is used, which is like JPEG 2000 or something. So at 4K, they're at about 800, 900 megabits a second on JPEG 2000, while on H.264, for let's call it equivalent quality, you're at about 40 megabits a second. So that means you can basically get 9 streams on a single wire, 9 or 10 streams on a single wire of Cat5 or 6 cabling.
And then, of course, the number one reason, and here we really want to talk about the extremely low latency. What do you mean? And more importantly, why is this so important? Why is this at the top of the list?
Well, to be honest, it's almost like we spoke before. So the key here is that we're getting the low bandwidth solution, which is not often, associated with low latency. So normally, the alternative is, okay, I want to use JPEG 2000 because it gets the latency down to, near zero.
Right.
But, usually H.264 is associated with, half a second of latency. But when you're using a Maevex 6100 series encoder with a Maevex 6100 series decoder, we can get as low as 60 milliseconds on video only and around 85 milliseconds on audio and video. This is really unheard of in terms of high compression content. And while it's not good enough to do live operations or that sort of thing, it's certainly very similar to what you would expect on your cell phone talking to someone else on a phone. So it's really, pretty much real time. And
Sure.
It's really exceptional when you can get both the quality we spoke of, the low bandwidth we spoke of, and this low latency that's along with it, all in one package. It just gives you so many options for your AV over IP transmissions and use cases.
So I think if we're going to keep with the baseball analogy, that would be a pitch that would be absolutely impossible to hit.